All right, board fam, it is time to talk about Supergirl. All right, so it's Tuesday, and after a very busy weekend for me, I'm finally having a chance to sit down and get myself settled in for the week. And I thought the first thing I would do is take a look at Supergirl and find out where it is, how it did at the box office, because that's what everybody cares about, is the box office. Now, I've given my thoughts and opinions on Supergirl after I saw it on Thursday over on my Reloaded channel. So you can get my full review over there. I talk about it spoiler-free and with spoilers. So if you want to check that out, head over to Eric's Reloaded, and it should be the most recent recorded video on my channel from Thursday of last week. However, I did not know where we were going to land financially with this movie because it was up against some heavy hitters. And this was a very beloved comic book story, and they had to get it right because it is one of the best, if not the best, Supergirl story you can find in comics, at least in modern times. So they had a lot to do going into this movie, a lot of stuff on their shoulders to make this film work. And I wanted to wait until I saw the movie. Pay attention there. I went out and saw the movie before I formed my opinion about it. And after seeing the movie, I had concerns on whether or not the movie would do well financially. The opening weekend is usually the hype weekend, and the second weekend is the word of mouth weekend. And the issues with this movie is after a low hype weekend, word of mouth probably isn't going to help the second weekend, because I think most people, even people like myself that were looking forward to this movie, most people agreed the movie didn't hit the marks that we wanted it to hit for our own personal taste about these films. But we did our due diligence. We went out and saw it first, and then we decided whether we liked it or not. So I see a lot of people in my comment section going, oh, the chuds were right, etc., etc., etc. But they weren't right. Not entirely, because they flattened the argument and they astroturf and poison the well on a lot of things that they are wrong about. We're going to take a look at one of those things in this video. Well, let's talk about what they were saying about Supergirl going into the opening weekend. They were saying that Millie Alcock was unattractive. They were making fun of how she looked, and a lot of this had to do with the backlash, where she talked about being objectified as a young woman in the entertainment industry. And what did they do? They decided to do the one thing that they said she was lying about, which is being objectified in media. Did that have anything to do with the movie not being good? No. So were they right about that? No. Whether or not she was attractive, whether or not she looked sexy, none of those things factored into the movie at all. Running with that, when she did an interview, an earned media spot where she talked about queer people and romance, she said that there was no romance in the movie. Now, this set off the chud alarms. They started going crazy over this. They started saying it was attacking men because there was no romance in the movie, essentially building some straw man argument about what Millie Alcock said in regards to the film not having any romance, queer or otherwise. Somehow is an attack on men. I don't really know how they reached that conclusion, but here's where we are. The issue is that if they want the movie to appeal to all ages, and we're not doing like sexual Supergirl, we're not doing romance, we're not doing anything like that, that would be essentially hitting that all age demographic that a lot of these guys believe Supergirl should appeal to. But here we are getting mad that there's no romance, love story, sex, something like that in the movie. None of that's there. So that's a problem also. Also, her supporting queer people. Somehow that was going to be an issue with the movie, that she was supporting queer people because there was going to be a bait and switch and that there was going to be queer stuff in the movie and blah, blah, blah. Again, none of that had anything to do with the disappointing aspects of the film. So the romance thing didn't affect the quality of the movie. The queer stuff, none of that was even in the movie. Whether or not Millie Alcock is attractive, which is totally subjective, did not factor into the movie. The movie being woke was another thing that I saw them complaining about. That didn't factor into the performance of the movie either. I don't think there was anything in the movie remotely like that. Like the woke stuff they normally complain about. I don't know. Maybe because she's a lead character, girl boss, but she wasn't really a girl boss because she was kind of a messy, drunk character for a lot of the movie. So there wasn't that either. So did that affect the quality of the movie? I would say no. And there's a lot of nebulous things that they say, like it's going to flop because of this social cultural thing with no proof whatsoever. No proof at all that those things factored in to the underperforming at the box office, most likely leading to an actual financial flop in the end. None of those things, I mean, up against Toy Story 5, if you told me that, I'd go, well, that seems like it could be a realistic reason why, right? So, like, it's up against a really big movie, which, by the way, Toy Story 5, that's the other thing, is a lot of people claimed that I said the movie was going to be a financial success and was going to make a ton of money. I never said that. I never said the movie was going to make $1 billion. Like, I was under no fucking spell that this movie was going to be $1 billion movie. You won't find that sound clip. It doesn't exist. I've never said that. Matter of fact, I said the movie would probably, they'd be happy if the movie made like 325, 350, 400. I said something like that. And I still think they would be happy with that. Will the movie make that? Probably not. It seems like the movie really doesn't have that energy behind it. And a lot of that has to do with the movie just not being a great movie. But here's the thing. I decided that after I saw the movie, because that's what an ethical critic, influencer, reviewer, whatever you might be, that's what you do ethically, is you go and you see something to determine whether or not it's good. Because that's how you view art. That's how you decide whether or not art is good or not. You go and you see it and you experience it, and then you make your determination on that. These guys are not some gurus. They don't have a crystal ball. Nerdrotic doesn't have some insider scoop on the box office or anything like that. Ryan Cannell doesn't. Yellow Flash doesn't. None of these guys have any sort of inside scoop on that, and they have been wrong before. Massively wrong about these things. So it's a coin flip for them. The coin flip is, if the movie ends up being successful, I will come up with another reason why the movie is bad. I will come up with another reason why. They will create some reason why. This is why they AstroTurf so hard, is so that they have things to fall back on when the movies do well. And then if the movie just happens to underperform at the box office, all they have to do is harp on that, because to them, quality is ticket sales. They don't want to talk about anything else. It's just the ticket sales. But if the movie does well, then the ticket sales don't matter. It becomes something else. And this is how they move on YouTube. This is the way they do things. I also forgot the Christian dad comments. They said that was going to affect the movie. It's nothing like that in the film. Clearly, it was her talking about people trolling her on the internet. They said it was going to be a James Gunn movie. Definitely not a James Gunn movie. If anything, it's Craig trying to do James Gunn, but even that didn't really do well. It's nothing like a James Gunn movie. All the things that they claimed this movie was going to be, it didn't end up doing any of those things, and those things did not actually affect the box office. None of the things they complained about affected the box office. Matter of fact, if I think it had been a James Gunn movie, it probably would have done better, to be quite honest. And now there's this revisionist history where they're saying, well, maybe James Gunn should have directed Supergirl. Why not? Why shouldn't James Gunn just direct Supergirl? It's weird. This whole thing is so weird. The reality of the movie is, and I'm not going to go into spoilers. If you want to hear spoiler thoughts about it, go check out my video. The reality is that Supergirl just wasn't a great movie, because as a movie, it didn't do what it needed to do in some regards. None of the other stuff that they talked about affected the movie whatsoever. They couldn't even prove it anyway. Like if they said, oh, well, it's because she talked about Christian men. How are you going to prove that? There's no proof to that. Just no proof to that. All indicators here for the box office just seem to be some sort of disinterest in whatever this DCU thing is. And we're going to see with like Lanterns and Clayface where that goes. I think Clayface will actually perform better because Clayface has a much lower budget. It's coming out around Halloween. It's being marketed as body horror. We'll see. And the studios have said in interviews that they believe that the movie is doing what they want it to do. They're going to be using Supergirl and Man of Tomorrow. They seem to have plans for things moving forward. I don't know. We'll have to see what's going to happen with that. I don't know where we sit with Man of Tomorrow until I see more from it. We've seen a few behind the scene things, but nevertheless, what I want to do next is I want to look at a video. It's going to be a video from Yellow Flash where he's predicting things like Oppenheimer, Barbie, and Mission Impossible 7. And I want to do this just to show you guys that these guys are not box office gurus. They're not like these mystics in the industry that can predict things. When you have a video like the one we're about to watch, still up on your channel in 2026, you haven't bothered to try and cover up damage control or anything like that, it's a problem. Let's check the video out. Once again, this is just me showing you how they are wrong a lot of times, sometimes on the biggest movies of the year, and some of the biggest disappointments of the year. Let's check this out.
So Barbie drops this week. Actually, two big movies dropped this week: Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Mm-hmm.
Then you still have Mission Impossible 7 in the wings. I think that movie is going to have legs. For how long, I don't know, but I think it'll have legs for a few weeks. I don't think.
Okay, so let's take a look at Mission Impossible 7 because this is absolutely hilarious. Did Mission Impossible 7 have legs? Mission Impossible 7 ends in domestic run by hitting another disappointing low. That's right, Mission Impossible, the once powerful franchise that was like a massive, massive thing for Tom Cruise, ended its entire run at 571, which was extremely disappointing for a very expensive movie with a lot of push leading into it. You got Tom Cruise, you got a straight white male lead. It was not woke. It had everything you could possibly need going into it, and it still underperformed compared to what these guys thought it was going to do. So right away, Yellow Flash is just absolutely wrong. The title of this video is Barbie movie review confirms film is hardcore feminist propaganda. Another Margot Robbie disaster. Let's continue.
I think it's going to have that big of a drop, especially after. So I think a lot of people will watch these movies. I don't know if people will go back to watch them.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't a diss, especially on Oppenheimer, which I think is probably going to be an amazing movie.
Okay.
But I don't think it's a movie people are going to go back and watch. That's the thing.
Oh, well, how did Oppenheimer do? I'm just curious how Oppenheimer did. Oh, almost $1 billion, 975 million worldwide in the box office, and probably another 50 to 100 million on VOD streaming. So it did cross $1 billion, most likely on home video. But I would say, we've talked about this. In order for a movie to get this close to $1 billion and cross $1 billion, it does require people to see it more than once. So I would say that some people did go out and see Oppenheimer more than once. That's pretty bad there, Yellow Flash. Like, you predicted Mission Impossible would have legs and it would do really well. It didn't. You're saying Oppenheimer would be good, but people are probably not going to see it 2 times. Let's see if your track record holds up. Do you have anything more to say about Oppenheimer? Because that's not good. It's not good at all.
I think that movie's probably going to have a disappointing box office.
Oh, Oppenheimer.
I'm not trying to hate on it. I think it'll be an amazing movie, but it's really long and it's really serious. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that being proven wrong multiple times in the same video is pretty incredible. So you were wrong about Mission Impossible. You were wrong about Oppenheimer. Let's see what you have to say about Barbie. And I know he's like, well, maybe I can be wrong. But the point is, this is why arguing that these guys are always right about flops, always right about disasters. It's just not true. And only your most devoted minions, the brain dead people that support these kinds of channels, the people that eat up the outrage like breakfast, only those people would get the impression that these guys are just right by default when they say stuff.
Barbie, everything's up in the air on this one.
Okay.
Because this could be a funny movie. It could also be a disaster.
Okay.
First reviews are out for it, or first reactions. Been out since July 10th. People have been saying that it's a cinematic triumph. It's a cinematic triumph, everybody. And they've been trying to say that this is a movie for everybody. That's the thing with this. And is it really a movie for everybody? Because super reviewer Grace Randolph says it's a super feminist film.
Which, by the way, I know we're not debunking the nuances of Barbie here, but a feminist is not anti-man, it's pro-woman. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing saying that someone can't be a feminist, but also is supportive of men. These guys are the ones that have created this like idea that feminist means that they hate men, or they don't like men, or they don't want to support men. It's just a dumb argument. So when she called it super feminist, I don't know the full context, and I'm not a massive Grace Randolph fan, I guess you could say. I mean, she's hit or miss for me with stuff, but yeah, this is John F. Trent bounding into comics. I mean, this makes sense, right? I'm trying to get to, and I might skip to it, where he talks about the box office. We'll see if it's worth sitting through the rest of this.
And now I don't know about this movie. This movie is probably going to have a good first weekend.
Oh,
I
okay.
won't be
That was
shocked
quick.
if this movie has a good first weekend.
Okay.
The second weekend is where we'll really see if people like this movie or not.
He's being very careful.
Because a lot of the times now, films will have a decent opening weekend, and then the next weekend it falls off a cliff. That's bad word of mouth.
I mean, it's just the criticism here is just so juvenile and rudimentary. Well, you know, sometimes they have a first weekend, sometimes they don't. And then sometimes they fall off a cliff. You see what I'm getting at here, guys? These predictions that they make for films like Supergirl and these other movies, it is a coin flip. They don't actually know.
I think in today's day and age, you have to consider critics are so out of touch. What they say does not affect a movie whatsoever.
Wouldn't you be a critic, though?
Okay. Look at Sound of Freedom. Sound of Freedom.
I forgot about that movie.
Making massive amounts of money.
Oh, God.
I
want to debunk it very quickly. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. Sound of Freedom was selling tickets, pay it forward stuff. Angel Studios does this shit with a lot of things. They sell a big chunk of tickets to who knows who, and they buy these tickets out at theaters, and then nobody goes to see them. It's just moving money around in the right-wing ecosystem.
Audiences love it. Critics hate it. Critics love it. Audiences hate it. And it happens more than you would think it would. But here's Grace Randolph's review. Barbie was one of the greatest films I've ever seen. It's super fun, super feminist, and I could watch it on loop. To see so much of what I think and feel captured in a movie was incredible. Review tomorrow with an embargo lifts at 7 p.m., and I'm sure that it is going to be a real banger of a video that I will love to watch on a live stream. It's like that. So you've had the director now say the film is feminist. I think Margot Robbie has. I'm not sure if she has or not. But the director has said that now, which is funny because it goes against what she said before. So she did this in a recent interview.
You might ask, Eric, why are you showing this? Because I'm showing the astroturfing process. This is what it looks like. So what is being done here is there's a lot of like comments from people associated to the movie, actors, directors, critics, people saying stuff, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is part of the machine for outrage. And none of this affected the box office of Barbie. You know why? Because these guys don't affect the box office. They don't move the needle at all. They have no impact on this stuff. Now, in the fandom, they do. They stir up really toxic, negative shit in the fandom. They have that power. That mutant ability they do have. But the power to actually move the needle at the box office doesn't exist for these guys. And it's getting smaller and smaller every day. It's getting smaller every day. Matter of fact, we'll wrap it up here because I think I've already watched enough of this video. He's not some guru that knows everything. These other guys are not gurus that know everything. They've been wrong about stuff before, just like they were wrong about Barbie, just like he was wrong about Oppenheimer. He was wrong about Mission Impossible. And this is just 3 examples in one video. I could go back and look at examples from every year where they have been wrong about stuff. But it's for them, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about riding that algorithm and getting people to tune into the outrage and be a part of it. And when it comes to Supergirl, none of this stuff factored into the dislike of Supergirl by so many people. Like none of the things they complained about, none of the things that they brought up had anything to do with the problems in Supergirl. Matter of fact, the one thing that was kind of adjacent to what they were doing, like calling the movie a James Gunn movie or whatever, and I like Craig Gillespie. I do. I think Craig is incredible. Very talented director. I actually think James Gunn would have been a better fit for Supergirl based on what we got. That's the gag of it all, to be quite honest. But no, these guys are not right. They're lucky. They're rolling the dice. They're spinning the wheel. They're throwing a dart at the dartboard. They're not right about stuff because they know something. They're not right about stuff because they're predicting the box office. They're not right about any of these things. Now, I know they're going to have their little minions in the comments saying this and that and the other, but the reality is I just proved to you beyond a shadow of a doubt, these guys don't know what they're talking about every time they turn on their camera. It's just not real. They just get lucky sometimes. They got lucky with Supergirl. They might say the same thing about Clayface, and then Clayface goes on to be a massive hit, but then they will claim the box office isn't the determining factor. It is public reception. They will shift. Keep an eye out on that. If you watch them review these movies, they will talk box office when the box office leans in their direction. They'll talk quality of the movie and ideology and all that stuff when the box office doesn't lean in their direction. It's just their formula for doing everything. So no, I don't believe the Chuds were, quote unquote, right about Supergirl. They were lucky that it underperformed in the box office, so they don't have to go out and come up with a million reasons why the movie sucked.